Hi, Zach Reiser here, and welcome back to another Bass Effects review video. Today, I am getting into the murky world of the Fairfield Circuitry shallow water K-field modulator. So let's start by discussing what the shallow water actually is. It could be thought of as a chorus or vibrato pedal, and essentially to first order, that's what it is. But instead of controlling the delay time modulation, consequently the frequency modulation, with a classic LFO, they control it with a random generator, giving you this just fascinatingly organic sounding, gorgeous modulation. You don't know what to expect, and that's kind of part of the fun. Along with the modulation side of things, they have a low-pass filter, or a low-pass gate, as they call it in this particular pedal, which you could think of as a tone knob, but it's not really a tone knob. Yet again, I mean, Fairfield Circuitry always seems to do something different, and I thoroughly respect them for that. So let's get into what this thing sounds like. Starting things off, here is my bass's dry tone Dingwall ABZ 6-string on the bridge pickup. So I'm going to turn the depth all the way down, and I'm going to turn the mix all the way up. And now I want you to hear what the low-pass gate is actually doing, because it can be wrongly thought of as a tone control. So here is with the low-pass gate rolled all the way forward. And you can hear I'm getting a little bit of hiss. It's a Bucket Brigade device. Bucket Brigade chips impart a little bit of hiss, which is why they give you a low-pass gate. So if I roll back the low-pass gate a little bit, I'm going to roll off some of my high end because it's essentially a low-pass filter. But here's where it's really cool. This is actually an envelope-controlled low-pass filter. So it's not a just standard tone pot. So if I roll it back a little bit further, you'll hear my picking dynamics are going to open up that low-pass gate a little more the harder I pick. Now, without even touching the modulation side of things, this is already an incredibly interesting feature, I think, for bass players. It almost imparts kind of that pseudo-fretless moi that you get on a non-fretted bass. It actually kind of reminds me of the defretter sound on some of the Boss multi-effect systems from back in the day. So I'm going to play around with just this low-pass gate setting, no pitch modulation, just experimenting with this envelope-controlled low-pass gate. Okay, so going into a little bit further explanation of these three knobs, they're all a little bit interconnected. Now, rate is pretty straightforward. It's basically the speed of the modulation, but yet again, it's a random generated modulation. I'm going to keep the damp all the way down for the moment and the depth all the way up to make this as dramatic as possible. So let's listen to this with these settings. And to make this a little bit more apparent, I'm going to roll in my dry signal so you can hear the actual pitch in comparison. Now, hopefully you can hear that the modulation is very sharp and very quick. So if we turn up the damp, you're going to get the same amount of depth of modulation, but those jumps are going to be smoothed out quite a bit. Turning the damp up all the way. So So I'm going to put on a little bit of reverberation here from my Eventide H9. And I'm going to play with a similar setting that I had at the beginning of the video with kind of a classic bass harmonic piece here. All right, let's add a little bit of dirt. It's always fun to hear what modulation sounds like, a little bit of dirt. So I have some light overdrive on from the Source Audio Aftershock. Sounds like this. And now let's put it into a slightly more traditional, turn to the damp up to give me more of that traditional chorus vibe here. Sticking with the dirt for a second, I've turned the damp all the way down. Gives me more of that extreme K-field modulation here. Let's switch over to the synthy side of things. So I turned on my Boss OC2 Octaver, switched the Aftershock over to a slightly kind of low gain gated sound here. And here's what that sounds like without the K-field. And now let's put on that shallow water. Switching over to a heavier gated fuzz sound here, getting a little synthier. I have switched or turned up the damp knob, getting back into that more traditional chorus sound, but yet again, it's a completely random generator instead of a traditional LFO. So it's just a different sound, a different mood. So here's without the shallow water. And then here's kind of fattening it up with this just organic sounding modulation. Just because I can while I'm in the synth territory, let's throw on a little bit of some fat, juicy analog delay for the Moog MF104 with these settings on the shallow water. Switching back to my dry bass, I want to show what it sounds like when you use a full wet side of the shallow water. It really just, it gives, yet again, the word I keep coming up with is murky. This very cool, organic, mellow vibe here. Switching over to a more textural example with the shallow water. This is a preset that I made on the Eventide H9 that was inspired by Blade Runner, kind of a sci-fi-esque sound. Sounds like this. And now let's warm that up with the shallow water. Another textural example, just because yet again I really feel that this thing shines by just creating a mood. So another sound from people that watch my channel that I use pretty often is a crystals effect. I use it off of my Eventide H9 by itself. It sounds like this. Gorgeous sound. But now let's add the shallow water. To finish things off here, going back to my dry bass, I put that Moog delay back on just to make the murkiness even further. I did turn the modulation off on the delay though, so any modulation you're hearing is coming from the shallow water. So that's my demo of the Fairfield Circuitry Shallow Water K-Field Modulator. An incredibly cool, organic, just gorgeous sounding and unique modulation pedal. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe below. I will be back very soon with more pedals and effects and performance videos. Thank you so much for watching.